So I want to play Dragon Dogmas 2, right? Hear me out. I am excited about this, but I want to tell you why I'm excited about this. And I'm going to talk to you guys like I'm talking to one of the homies who hasn't heard anything about Dragon's Dogma or know anything about video games that much. And I'm just going to break it down from my experience, from what I know so far. I have not played the game. I've only watched trailers and I made my character, which took about an hour and a half. I've never in my life, can I tell you, never in my life spent an hour and a half creating a character on a video game. Crazy to me. And that's when I realized that, oh, this game actually might be something, okay? So if you ever heard of Dragon's Dogma 2? No? Well, let me come here, let me talk to you. Sit down for a second, okay? First off, the game is made by Capcom, right? If you don't know who Capcom is, they made Street Fighter, they a whole bunch of games. They got a nice long list of games that they do, okay? And one of my favorite games by Capcom is, hear me out, okay? Lost Planet. Lost Planet is one of my favorite games by Capcom. It was done well, it was done good, and I had a lot of fun playing it. So that's not the only reason why I'm playing this game. I just like Capcom as a company, and a lot of the games that they make are really good and really cool. With that being said, listen, all right, let's just talk about the character customization, right? You can create your character any way you want, right? So I went in, like, I actually gave my character a background story, and I gave my pawn a background story as well, right? A pawn is a character, like a side character, because you get to make your own side character, for instance, right? And then that side character goes online, and you can use other people's side characters and whatever the case may be. But pawns are not what the biggest thing around here. I gave my character a background story. Right? In that background story, his name is Marzoro, okay? He is an older gentleman who's been in many wars, and he's fought countless battles, and he has the scars in the face to show it. He walks around with a chip on his shoulder, right? Until one day he finds a young boy who has ambitions in his eyes named Black. It's my pawn, right? The pawn I made. And he is a young wizard, right? So why would you think this warrior, fighter, god tier monster, that Marzoro, picks up this young kid, Black, and starts an adventure with him? Well, that's what we have to figure out when the game actually starts. Look, that's just the character customization, and I was here for it, man. It was amazing. There's like 4 different classes that you can pick from to start off with, and I think each class, or they're called advanced classes, right, that you get as you progress through the game, that you could change as well. But the first 4 classes were fighter, thief, wizard, and archer. And then from there, you pick one of those classes, and then you set off on your adventure, right? But here's the kicker, right? The character customization is very cool for the simple fact, you hear me? The simple fact that how you create your character, like if you make a big, tall, fat dude, he's able to carry a lot more stuff, and he moves slightly differently from somebody if you made a small, tiny, skinny dude, right? They can't carry a lot of stuff on their person because they're small and tiny, but they're a lot more agile and quick versus the big dude who's not as agile, but probably hits a little bit harder. I think that is cool. Like the way your arms length and your legs length, if you make somebody tall and somebody short, the taller person is going to walk faster than the shorter person because the taller person takes longer strides. It's the minor details for me, okay, that make that, just that alone, awesome, right? This is one of the reasons why I want to play Dragon Dogmas 2. Now, before we even go any further in this video, I haven't even played Dragon's Dogma. I heard great things about it. People told me like, oh man, you should play Dragon's Dogma. Never got around to it. And when it came out, I was probably like living life outside doing things, so I never actually got my hands on it. I know it's real cheap. I can play it, but I'm just going to save my first impressions when I actually get my hands on Dragon Dogmas 2. So I have no idea what to really expect besides the videos and trailers that I watched in this game. I found out, right? Hear me out. I found out that there aren't quest markers on your screen, right? For instance, like if you go God of War and you look at the top of the screen, there's a diamond telling you where to go, like in all games that come out of late, it tells you where to go. This game does not have that. You have to find out where do you have to go by looking at a map and like, oh wait, hold on, I gotta go to this town over here and maybe do this quest. So you have to pay attention. Hopefully we have a journal and it writes it down and says, oh, because if I have to remember this myself, it's gonna be a horrible horrible time for me because I won't be able to remember. I'm always one of those people. I'm too trained in the old tradition of, well, the newer tradition of video games, looking at the journal or looking at the diamond to tell me where to go. But that's not there. If there's no journal, and I got to remember I have to go to Blackwater Town down in Northeast. Now I got to look at the Northeast and go to Blackwater Town. Then when I get to Blackwater Town, I'm not going to remember what I got to do or who I got to talk to. So I do hope there's a journal that's in there. What else? The graphics look pretty good. I'm not a big graphical guy myself, but I will say the graphics look pretty cool, man. If you're a graphics person, I think you might be pleased by how the game turns out. Once again, I am not a big graphically type of person, so I'm only worried about the gameplay and the gameplay mechanics. So if the game can function perfectly fine and well, then that's what I'm here for. I'm here for that, right? There is no multiplayer. So hear me out, right? I know you thought you were going to play this game and me and you were going to run it up a little bit, but no, there's no multiplayer. The best thing that I can do with you is play with your pawn. Pause is the little guy that you make in the character customization, throw him online, and then I can add him to my party or play with him as well, and so on and so forth. So I think that's cool, right? I just want to touch the character customization real quick. I'm gonna go back to that because it just popped into my mind, right? The in-depth character customizations that people are going to be doing. I already seen some of them on Reddit, and I tell you what, man, somebody made Shaggy, and somebody made, let me sit up. Somebody made Lizelle from Baldur's Gate, okay? Listen, I know I haven't talked about Baldur's Gate at all, but when I do show my gameplay, because I am currently in a campaign right now and I'm playing it, when I do show my gameplay, and me and Lizelle, oh, come on. So now, whoever made Lizelle, I'm probably going to have to use that pawn for a little bit for my own purposes, but that's just for scientific purposes at that. I just want to see some things to see how she plays in the game. But moving on, you might ask, like, what are you actually doing in Dragon Dogma that you don't know? You haven't seen a video or know nothing about it. You're pretty much in a fantasy world and you're fighting gigantic monsters of mythical monsters, right? Dragons, cyclopses, I don't know, wolverines, wolves, I don't know, whatever you're fighting, whatever fantasy monster, griffins, Medusa, whatever monsters you could possibly think up in the Greek mythology or just any monster in general, those are the monsters that you're going to be fighting. Gigantic statues walking through, Roman statues walking through towns, you got to jump on their back. The gameplay looks awesome, right? Because it kind of reminds me a little bit, just off rip by looking, once again, haven't played the game, but just off rip looking at it, it looks like kind of Monster Hunter-y, right? You got to jump on these big monsters and take them down and stuff. So maybe it might be a little bit more fantasy style Monster Hunter, but not as in depth as fighting monsters in Monster Hunter, if that makes any type of sense at all. Another thing that I found out about this game that I am kind of excited for is that you only have one save slot. You can't make multiple saves and multiple characters in this game, right? And I think that's pretty cool. So it's either you're gonna make this character, make this class, get all the way to a certain spot in the game, and you're like, damn, I don't even like this class that I made. Hopefully you can change the class throughout the game. You don't have to stick with that. But if you don't, you gotta delete the character and start all over and make a new character because there's only one save spot. And I wonder why they did that. I don't know. Maybe it's because they don't want people cluttering their servers up with all these different pawns and stuff. Maybe that might be a reason. Or they just want you to have have a little bit of a challenge in trying to figure out your game style and gameplay. But I figure there might be a workaround it. I'm not 100% sure. This is only something I read on the internet. So I still don't know anything myself. But I'm just excited that Dragon Dogma 2 is coming out. And I'm excited to get my hands on it because I feel like it's going to be a challenging game. Because once again, the only reason I say that is I've never spent an hour and a half on character customization. I've never given my characters background stories like this. And I blame Baldur's Gate 3. This was really started it. I always had the same characters that I would use and just give them some weird names. But Baldur's Gate 3 made me create a character. It made me actually believe I was that character when I was playing the game. And I'm taking that roleplay into a lot of my other games now, and Dragon Dogma is the next game that I'm taking that into. So if you guys like this kind of content and want to see me play Dragon's Dogma, you can come over to my Twitch, twitch.tv/UltraRareMarz. It's the same as my YouTube name. Just go in the description below, hit the link, and you can go straight there. I'll be playing it on the day it releases, and put some time into it, making some videos as well. So if you want to see more of this content, okay, sign up. We're here. We're playing Dragon's Dogma. I hope that was cool, right? I'm just talking to you guys like I would talk to one of the homies. And if you have any questions, let me know down in the comments, and I'll answer them in another video, maybe, possibly. But yeah, that's it for this. I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm out of here. Peace. Ultra!